Hey, what's going on? This is Ace All Freedom. Thank you for tuning in. And today we're gonna talk about the the Baltimore riots and um, everything that's going on. At least from my perspective, I'm pretty sure a lot of people who know what's going on. This has definitely made national headlines, and it's just one of those incidents, or where unfortunately another young life was taken away uh, senselessly and needlessly, and obviously people are definitely in an uproar because this just adds to the this trend of the police force taking their power to another level and just uh, killing and taking lives and destroying families because they have this they have this badge and a gun in a club or whatever, a taser or whatever, and they just feel that it's their right and it's their duty to make sure that's really enforced to the point where people don't respect them to protect and serve. They expect them to, take a life and to really injure somebody and just to get people angry. So I think the respect for police force in general definitely waning, and it's definitely something to be very concerned about, because at the end of the day, their job is to serve and protect, and a lot of guys are not that aggressive, although and I've battled with this for a while. I don't think there are any good cops, because if there were, they wouldn't be in the police force at all. I mean, you have corruption within the ranks and all up and down the police force. A lot of policemen are enforcing rules and hurting people for the sake of a quota, or there's some of their excuses are, I'm just doing what I'm told. You have a lot of peaceful protesting, and they tell people to get off a certain property, and when then people say, well, why you want me to move? I'm not hurting anybody, or this is a public domain or whatever, and they get upset and they want to slam somebody on the ground and put the knee to the back, and this whole bully mentality is very, very disturbing and very hostile, and it does nothing for them, and it really does nothing for the people who go out and want to loot and start fires. And that's what I want to get into today. Obviously, the riots in Baltimore has been going on for a long time. You had the riots in the War of 1812, right before the War of 1812, and people in Baltimore living at that time was opposed to the war. I believe James Madison wanted to go to war with England, and a lot of people was opposed to it. Some people was for it, and obviously people, there's difference of opinion. Things got hot. Things got very hot, and riots occurred during that time, and a lot of people was injured. General Henry Lee, he was the main, one of the, he definitely was the main guys, I guess, in the military or whatever, and him and his friends are, was very seriously injured as they try to hide from the rioters, and they took up arms, but the rioters got the best of them at the end of the day. and one person died, but a lot of them was very seriously injured, and that's how that goes. And of course, the press has something to do with it. Even then, the press, was for certain people in the Democratic and Republican Party, for the war, and that definitely incited riots as well, just like the press today inciting riots. Just website after website, news media after news media. The coverage has been, oh my God, look at what they're doing. Fires are erupting. Cars being destroyed, businesses being destroyed, looters are everywhere. Run for your life. It's all pandemonium. Just crazy. But none of them wanted to report about the peaceful protesting that has been going on as well, and they didn't want to show that. They didn't want to talk about that. They just wanted to show, hey, look, this is what's going on. You guys got to run for your life. Of course, the mainstream news is they're just despicable, just outright cowardly, yellow-bellied, chicken-hearted individuals. Not one of them will speak out against anything. They just parrot it. They try to change questions around to fit the narrative, and on goes the show. So, and they even go to alternative news media as well. It's especially one of the at least the prominent one right now is Infowars, Alex Jones. Article by Paul Joseph Watson. His article is definitely talking about the looting and nothing peaceful is going on whatsoever. So forget about that. It's all about looting, and no one has a clear head about this at all. So even that article goes off quoting a Drudge Report tweet. And, basically America is about to fall down. America's about to crumble because of everything that's going on in Baltimore. It's just sad that, it has to come down to this. It's just a constant bashing of portraying black people as some kind of animal that has to be tamed. And, of course, it's not only black people, but that's what they're showing. So, to the unsuspecting eye, who's just looking, they don't see that there are peaceful blacks that want justice to be served in a peaceful manner. Another thing I read was a meme that said, something about, who cares about the property being destroyed? I don't own it. And I read it. I think I read that last night. And this morning. I'm sorry. And a friend of mine brought that back up, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's true, but I mean, what sense does it make to destroy somebody else's hard-earned product that they earned themselves with, they saved up money or whatever and did the necessary things to attain it without hurting anybody? Why is it cool to do those things to other people's property? It's not yours. So, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, my friend, she agreed to it a little bit, but I had to kind of let her know, hey, that's not what's up at all. It's not yours. I don't care what it is. It's just not yours. If somebody could take your cell phone and smash it to the ground, it's not mine, so I don't care. It doesn't make sense to me. So destroying the property is absolutely nonsense, and it shouldn't have been done. But you're talking about years and decades just of oppression and the community setbacks, that they have. Economic times is terrible. Jobs are very hard to come by. And, it's just bubbling up. And that was, one of them tipping points where it's like, all right, enough's enough. And, I can understand that. You're talking about years of frustration. but at the same time, going about looting stores because you just want something free that you couldn't get any other day for whatever reason, and it was just an excuse to get these things, is just, to me, is outright is selfish. You don't care about other people's hard-earned property. You don't care about people's feelings. You don't care that now they got to fill out all this paperwork, the insurance, and do all this stuff because you wanted some toilet paper. So I totally do not agree with the looting and the burning of cars and stuff, things like this. It's ridiculous. That should not have been done and should never be done. Peaceful protesting, organized, and with a goal should be the only way things should go about. And again, the mainstream media did not even put that out there. If they did, it was on a few, maybe a 30-second clip or something like that, but nothing to the point of saying, hey, you know what, wow, people are really civilized and want to do this in a peaceful manner. Nothing like that, but it's article after article of fires ablaze. And then another website, WND, that article had, definitely portraying just complete anarchy, and that person don't even know what anarchy is, using anarchy in the wrong context. Anarchy is definitely not craziness and looting. Anarchy is, no masters to rule over you. That's just it. It's not, anarchy doesn't mean chaos. So let's get that straight. But it just portraying the quote unquote chaos, and the National Guard's been in there and everything like that. I mean, if you're up to the minute with the story, you know what's going on. I just wanted to say that the mainstream media are a bunch of cowards. They really are a bunch of cowards. I saw one clip where you had it seemed like he was a nice, intelligent black man trying to tell this reporter, that we're doing this the wrong way. The looting is not great. It's not a good idea. Things are set up and should be set up in a way to where we can discuss this intelligently. And he didn't want to hear any of that. He didn't want to hear about the oppression, and not only on blacks, but just people of Spanish descent. It's everybody who lives in the urban community. It's everybody. So they portraying blacks as we had enough, and yeah, sure, yeah, we did, but it's everybody. Everybody who lives in a community like that is struggling, and that needs to be addressed. That needs to be within the community and towards the city hall, towards those kind of people. But again, cowardly people are inside the government as well. Very cowardly people who are scared to speak out, who's worrying about their own self-interest and not thinking about the future of their family, but everybody else's family as well. So that's the problem I have, with that. And people say, well, you can vote locally. Yeah, you can. And I haven't done that because I just don't trust the body of government at all. I think eventually they will seek out their own selfish agenda. They'll get bribed with something and they'll follow somebody else's agenda and further destroy the community. So I'm very, very leery of government bodies, period. I'll look into, voting locally, but if I don't, it's hard to get change when everybody's bought and paid for. When everybody's a coward and they don't want to stand up for themselves and they don't think for themselves. It's hard to get to trust anybody, at least for me. But but it's a step in the right direction regardless. Instead of just destroying other people's property, it's a step in the right direction. And at the end of the day, people who live in the community make it what it is. Yes, it's a lot of red tape and a lot of paperwork for certain situations, but what you see as well now after the fact, and who knows what could happen later on. But in Baltimore, they're cleaning up the mess, which is a good thing. You can see that on mainstream news as well. they're actually sweeping up and cleaning all the glass on the floor, the debris, everything around, which is a good thing.